I'm going to show you the actual workshop presentation that we use, as well as some of the registration devices that we've created for an annuity workshop. Only a few agents and agencies have done annuity workshops. Okay, we've had, excuse me, Melody, Heather, Mike, John, of course, Paul, Andrew. We've had a handful of them across the country. For 2016, I think we are going to do a handful more. And so understanding this is valuable. There's some people on this call that haven't even written an annuity. Do I think that doing an annuity workshop is the right thing to do? Not necessarily, but I think you should know how it works. I think the information that you garner here is how we need to be presenting to clients. If you want to take your annuity production to the next level, did you know that the most common way for IMO and IMO affiliates, agents out there, to produce annuities is to do workshops? Okay? The workshop you're going to see here, I believe we hosted at a country club. Matt and I have a membership there, the country club in Portland or Vancouver, and it's a great place to host it. Paul has the same thing, okay? But you know, our favorite place to host it now is a library, because it doesn't cost us anything. It's a great idea. And we have various workshops on various products, so you can run a series of them. If you commit to a workshop, it's not one workshop and then we're done. You really want to try to do something on a quarterly or even monthly basis or every other month. That's why libraries are a good idea. So make a little note of that, and you can send an email to Sean.Ruggiero@Family First Life if you have any questions about how to approach the library to set it up. But let's go ahead and get started. This was one that we did in Oregon, Portland, Oregon, the Benefit 10 Annuity Workshop. Welcome. We're going to talk a little bit about ourselves, okay? The clients need to be comfortable with who you are. So I'm going to talk about who I am, my family, same thing with Matt. Notice we have pictures of our family. Notice that we're talking to them about from a human nature, right? This is who we are. We have families to support. We're working just like you. And we're people that put family first. That's the name Family First Life. I want to talk to you all about the 5 fears of today's retirees. Okay, now this is according to NAFA Magazine, the January-February issue of 2015. The number 1 fear that retirees have today is outliving their money. The number 2 fear is their health and long-term care costs. Does anyone here have that fear, right? And notice, you know, those of us, those agents listening on this, it must be interactive when it comes to this workshop. I'm going to pause and I'm going to ask for a show of hands. I'm going to say, show of hands. Anyone here who's concerned about what long-term care cost or healthcare costs could be? You're going to get, if you have a room of 20 people, you can get about 20 hands that raise up. Number 3 fear, people want to be able to outpace inflation. Number 4 is negative returns. You know, we've seen these dips in the market. We've seen volatility in the stock markets. People don't want to have that hit them in retirement. That's a scary thing. That's why it's the number 4 top fear of all today's retirees. And the last fear is not leaving a legacy to your loved ones. Okay? Anyone here that would like to pass a little something on, be it, you know, $5,000 or 5 years of college paid for? And again, you're going to get a raise of hands. People want they want to give to their loved ones. Well, first we need to understand how retirement has changed. 20 years ago, retirement was still mostly funded by Social Security, meaning your average income earner, half their income in retirement was made up by Social Security. But 35% was compensated through employer-offered pension plans, right? People had pensions. You know, I live up here in Seattle. This presentation is in Oregon. And we're going to talk about people who here worked at Micron when you had a pension? Who here worked at Hewlett-Packard? Who here worked at Nike? Boeing? See, those pensions are gone now. But 20 years ago, the amount of savings necessary to complete your income in retirement, your retirement income planning, was about 10%. See the yellow piece of pie there? 10%. Fast forward to today, Social Security still makes up a little over half of your retirement income, which is fantastic. But pensions have shrunk to 8%. Very, 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 very few companies are offering pensions. People retiring now are not in the same position as people who retired 2 decades ago. So now you have to have 40% of your retirement income from savings. That's significant. So the solution is the benefit 10 from Athene. I talked about the 5 fears. Well, look how the benefit 10, which is now approved in the state of Oregon, or approved in the state of Virginia, or approved in the state of Texas, whatever it is, across the country. The benefit 10 assuages all 5 fears. You're worried about outliving your money? Don't worry, the benefit 10 is a lifetime income benefit. You're worried about health and long-term care costs? Don't worry, the benefit 10 has an enhanced income benefit rider built in and a confinement benefit. Maybe outpacing inflation is your concern. Well, with a 7% annual rate to the benefit base guaranteed, you'll outpace inflation. Maybe it's negative returns, dips in the stock market. Good news, the benefit base, that 7%, is not tied to the stock market performance. Or maybe your fear is leaving a legacy. Well, anything that you don't use in the benefit base, this guaranteed increase that is not tied to stock market performance, will be paid to your beneficiaries of your choosing. Now, we need to explain to the clients, to the attendees of the workshop, how that benefit base works. There needs to be no confusion about this, okay? So the next slide we're going to have talks about the benefit base and how it works. I'm going to say to the attendees very clearly, here's how the benefit base works. You're going to get a 7% guaranteed annual crediting for the first decade. And I like to use the word decade, strong. After that, you're going to get a guaranteed 5% for every year after that. And it's going to grow until one of 2 things happens. Either you turn age 85 or you activate one of those benefits. Here's an example over to the right. If at age 60, I put in an investment of a mere $100,000, and that's 2015, then that 7% is going to grow for the next decade, from age 60 to age 70. So it's very easy to calculate. It's $7,000, 7% crediting every single year, without any risk of loss, without any fear of stock market dips. And then after that, it's 5%. So you can see all the way to age 85, if I said this is $100,000 that I don't ever want to touch, or I'll only touch it if I need it in the case of emergency, you can see that that $100,000 has grown to $250,000 guaranteed, and you can pass every dime of that $250,000 on to your beneficiaries. That's how the benefit base works. So let's go through the fears. Fear number 1 is outliving your money. Did you know, and again, agents listening to this, you want to be interactive. You can't just be reading the slides, right? We're going to try to be interactive. I'm going to step aside for a second and ask someone, right? Ask someone who's attending this workshop. I'm going to say, Joe, Susan, did you know that a 65-year-old couple has a 50% chance that one of them lives to age 92? Did you know that there's a 25% chance that one of them will live to 97? And the number of people living from age 90 has tripled from 1980. So the people from 2010 who are living to age 90 is triple the number from 1980. People are living longer. So obviously the fear is outliving your money. Now I'm going to show them this sequence of returns risk. Meaning, if you have to take money out of your retirement and the market dips down, your money could be out by the time you're 84. So that's a fear. A fear of outliving your money is a fear tied to sequence of returns risk. So the solution is lifetime income. And that's what we present right here, is lifetime income, right? Problem, solution, benefit 10. The client can elect to convert the benefit base into lifetime income, whether it's individual or joint, and you don't have to decide right now. You can decide when you turn on. Meaning, Joe, and I'd be looking out to the audience, Joe, you can have it for just you or for you and Susan. It's going to have mortality crediting, something exclusive to annuities. Mortality crediting means that your income amount grows the longer you wait, just like Social Security. So, for example, if a 60-year-old male deposits $100,000 in the benefit base, it activates his annual income at age 70. Here's what it would look like. So he could put it in at 60. At age 70, he could take it out. And he's now taking out $8,500 a year for the rest of his life, guaranteed. Or if he wants it to pass on to a spouse, it's now $7,650 for the rest of both their lives, guaranteed, even if they live to 100 or beyond. Second fear was the cost of long-term care. Here's a study that was done in 2012 by Genworth. Came up with the calculation that the average cost of a nursing home per year is $73,000. The most expensive state being Alaska, because they have to ship everything up there, at over $250,000 a year, $273,000. And the cheapest state is Texas, $47,450. This is a big fear for just about everyone. Who here is worried about long-term care costs? Again, I'm gonna engage the audience, have them raise their hand. Okay, show of hands. Okay, well, we have a solution. Now the solution is not everyone move to Texas. Okay, that's good news. The solution is the enhanced lifetime income benefit. Let me explain to you how this works. Do you remember that $8,500 per year of lifetime income I showed you could lock in for that individual? Or if you wanted to do it as a joint income, it would be $7,650. See this graphic here? This shows you exactly how it works. See, if at any time you cannot perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living, right? Eating, bathing, dressing, driving, then they will enhance your income for the rest of your life, guaranteed, by either 50% for individual or 25% for joint. Now notice something, folks. You don't have to be in a nursing home. You can actually just get a doctor's note, and they're going to increase it. Let's look at the example for joint for a second. Let's say a couple is taking in $7,650 a year in retirement. And let's say the husband, let's call him Ted, has a stroke, and he can't function the same way he used to function. That's quite a burden on Mary. Well, Mary can have the doctor who treated his stroke just in 2 sentences put down that he can no longer perform 2 of 6 activities of daily living, sign it, and that's going to be sent off to Athene. Athene's going to then increase that $7,650 to almost $10,000 per year, a 25% increase to help offset the additional costs and burden to take care of Ted. But here's arguably the neatest thing about it. Let's say 9 years later, Ted dies. But Mary is alive and well and kicking. Athene does not reduce the amount. Even if the original benefit base or cash that was put in the policy is gone, they will continue to pay her $9,562 every year until she dies, even if she lives to 100 and beyond. That's the power of the enhanced lifetime income benefit. Let's talk about fear number 3, outpacing inflation. Now, agents, listen to the call. This is a great time to engage the audience again. You got to make sure the audience is not sleeping on you, okay? Those of you that are getting late to this call, we're reviewing the Benefit 10 workshop for Family First Life, a workshop that is done to a live audience through invitation, social media invites, mailer invites, in order to harness annuity sales and educate and create a presence for yourself in the community that you're working. It's a way to sell more annuities and gain more clients. So I'll get back to the presentation here. Fear number 3, outpacing inflation. This is a great time to engage the audience again. I tell them, I say, did you know that a $20 purchase in 1982 is now $50? That's a 146% increase. Let me ask you here, raise your hands. Who here, okay, can tell me $1 in 1900, so around the time that Teddy Roosevelt was president, what do you think a dollar would buy you today? What's a dollar worth today? Raise your hands. Anyone want to guess? See, it's a great way to engage the audience. Make sure they're not napping on you. Make sure they're feeling excited. So the person that raised their hand, let them answer. And I've had some crazy answers, right? But 5 cents. 5 cents is the answer. Can you imagine that? A dollar from 1900 is only worth 5 cents today. Now, am I worried about us having a 100-year retirement? No, of course not. But it shows you how that decline can affect you. Because I think all of us should be looking forward to a 30-year retirement, maybe even a 40-year retirement. So even though it might not dwindle all the way down to 5 cents, you see the impact in your dollar. You see how inflation can erode your purchasing power in retirement and hinder your lifestyle. The solution is the 7% guaranteed rate. Inflation over the last 100 years has been 3.2% on average. That's according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, 3.2%. So I show you in this illustration what 3.2% compounding looks like. What it would mean to $100,000. The benefit 10 grows at a 7% simple interest guaranteed rate. So fast forward, you're going to see that the benefit 10 will be outpacing inflation. That's the solution. Our second to last fear is negative returns. Let me ask you, when will the next recession hit? How old will you be? How much can you afford to lose in retirement? See, this is important. This is a visual. Retirement is all about timing. If your money is invested in the stock market and that's your plan, I'm going to do a 4% safe withdrawal rate and have my money invested in the markets. Well, that worked great if you hit one of these green boxes. But if you hit one of these red boxes, by the way, this is the actual. Okay. Harold, let me try to join back in. Hold on, everyone. We're having some technical difficulties. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it, Harold. You want to make sure that we can avoid negative returns. So if your fear is negative returns, how do we avoid them? And by the way, what do negative returns mean? And this is an extra graphic that we like to show people. It's just math, but it's powerful. Take the time to look at this. What if you suffered a 40% loss in retirement? Does anyone here know what they need to gain back just to break even? 67%. What if you lost 60%? You would now need 150% gain in order to make it up. Now, I know some of you are saying, come on, is that going to happen? Well, looking around the room here, tell me, is anyone here, were you alive in 1973 and 74? And you're going to get a show of hands. People love to have battle scars, right? Matt loves this part because it's where the people with pride, right? You know, the people that had to walk through a mile of snow uphill both ways to get to and back from school. People that fought in wars. Yeah, they want you to know how easy we have it right now. So when you say, give me a show of hands of who here was around in 1973 and 74 when the S&P dropped almost 50%. You're going to get hands just flying up. They take pride in that. Well, more recently, the S&P in 2000, remember the dot-com debacle? 2000, 2001, 2002, 49% loss. And the NASDAQ, because it had a lot of tech stocks, in that same time dropped even more, almost 80%. You would have to gain, if all your money was in the NASDAQ, you'd have to have a 400% return to recoup that 80% loss. And most recently, with the mortgage crisis and the banking errors, 2007 to 2009, we lost 57%. So you all who have weathered those storms, who are here today, are you really thinking that you won't have any other recessions in the next 30 years? Fear number 5, not leaving a legacy. 88% of surveyed clients from an AARP study who are 65 said that leaving something to the beneficiaries, including church or charity, was of importance. Who here wants to leave something to the beneficiaries? Now, whether it's children, grandchildren, college, charity, final expense, or church, who feels that would be important? The benefit 10 is unique. That roll-up rate, that 7%, you'll never lose it, even if you don't spend it. And see, that's always the rub. Who here has ever heard someone say, well, annuities are a crapshoot? They're great if you live too long, but if you die too early, the annuity company keeps your money. Now, not so with the benefit 10. That's why it's one of the most popular financial retirement vehicles in the market today. Based on a $100,000 deposit, if a client were 65, this is what they could pay out guaranteed to their loved ones. If they died the same day they put it in, they just took 100 and turned it into 107,000. Full death benefit paid to their loved ones. If they died at age 75, a little early, they pay out 170. And if they live to average age of death, about 85, they're going to pass on almost $250,000, guaranteed. Now, at this point, we're going to go through real-world applications. I'm not going to go over these right now on the webinar, but these are where we really drive it home. We talk about a gentleman named Sam who takes care of his RMDs, who puts in $500,000, takes out $250,000, and still passes on $704,000 guaranteed to his loved ones. We're going to talk about how to replace Social Security income. Gene and Gina, age 65, put in a mere $57,000 of their retirement money because they're living off Social Security. Gene's Social Security is higher at $25K. Gina's is lower at $12,500. At age 70, they're still kicking. Age 75, still kicking. Age 85, guess what happens? The man dies. And 80% of the time, that's exactly what happens. The husband dies first. So that $25,000 gets passed over to Gina. She gets the higher of the two Social Securities. But her $12,000 is gone. So 20 years later, remember inflation, 2 decades into retirement, Gina now has 50% less money to live off of. But because they tucked away a mere $57K at retirement, she now has $125,400 of the benefit base guaranteed. Even if the stock market went down every year since retirement, doesn't matter. And she takes that $125,000 and now gives herself not only the replacement of Gene's income, but a boost to offset inflation. And she pays herself an additional $25,000, $25,000, $25,000, $25,000, $25,000. And finally, she dies at age 90. But Gene and Gina had a plan, and they used the benefit 10, and they used those guaranteed numbers. Excuse me, everyone. Things you need to know. And when we do these presentations, we say, if something's too good to be true, it isn't true. So I'm going to talk to them up front about a surrender charge. If you take out more than 5% or more than the RMDs per year, then you're going to be subject to a 9% surrender charge. You need to know that. They limit you to 5%. Now, you can take out your RMDs without penalty. You can't have 2 annuitants on qualified money, right? 401k, IRA, anything like that. But it doesn't matter because Athene will allow you to do a joint payout. The owners can be a trust. Okay, anyone here have a trust? I'll ask the audience. Some will raise their hand, some don't know. I don't really care. Very few of them fund it in a trust. But you want to explain to them that you know what you're talking about. Well, you can fund it in a trust, whether it's revocable or irrevocable, and the beneficiary can also be a trust. And don't worry, you can allow multiple beneficiaries, and your beneficiaries can be changed at any time. And then thank you. Now, this one, Matt and I had a dinner. Do you have to have a dinner? No. It's an option. Okay? But that is the Benefit 10 annuity workshop. So again, just a recap. For anyone who had joined this call late, I'm trying to explain that for 2016 with Family First Life, We want to take the handful of agents and agencies that have done these workshops and increase that number, so the people out there who are listening to this, who say, I'm ready for that next level, I want to sell more annuities and gain more clients, can take advantage of it. So very quickly, hopefully you're still looking at my screen, I want to show you how we get those clients. So this here is a website that spawns for an agent website or an agent workshop. Okay? So I showed you one that Matt had. That was for our location. Here's one that Mike and John did in Atlanta. So very quickly, you're going to see the Family First Life logo branding there, retirement imagery, learn more about retirement income options, register for our next workshop. The client can click here and register. They can view the invitation. Okay? Here was the invitation. State approved 7% annual annuity return. This is something that we sent out using a mail list for people of higher income, but not too high. They can register. There's your lead. They can invite up to 4 guests. There's a little security code here, so we make sure that they're a real human being. They can contact us if they have additional questions. And they can even see the location and get directions with Google Maps right here. If they want to see more in the Client Resource Center, Education Center, they're going to see independent third-party information from Vanguard, the Index Annuity Leadership Council, from SafeMedi Smart, and they're going to see pictures and bios of those that are hosting. Now, here's the coolest thing about it. It's all coded to be visible with adaptive code on any device and to be shared through all social media. So let me ask you this. How big is your Facebook friends? How many Twitter followers do you have? How many people do you have on Google Plus or LinkedIn? Do you have family members that are on Facebook and then they could share it? You just click on the Facebook, and of course you'd be signed in, and you can now share this and ask others to share it and promote it. You can even do a boost on Facebook or Twitter or Google Plus to try to get additional outsiders based on their location. So what we do is a 2-part effort in order to get registrants to your workshop. We create an invitation that's mailed out based on very specific demographic data in a zip code or zip codes that you want, right here. And then we blast it out through social media, through your sign-up portal, your promotion portal at Retirement Income Workshops. Okay? I've gone, actually I'm right on time, 8:30. So I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar. If you have any questions, please email annuity@familyfirstlife.com. Annuity@familyfirstlife.com. If you want to do your own workshop, email annuity@familyfirstlife.com and we can start walking through the setup process. Appreciate everybody being on. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Tomorrow we have the national sales call and getting close to Christmas, so let's put as much business on the books as we can so we can enjoy our Christmas holiday with our families. Thank you. Take care. Talk to you later.